we can even at the commercial basis in nefesh. He was going through that there's in keiches there's common dargis, there's keiches agluyim, there's keiches hanelamim, and there's keiches kululim be'etzem nefesh mamish. And it's all you have the of nefesh nesek keiches, just bechal higher than in of keiches. There's a nefesh and the nefesh mitzad the fact that it's not mukbal yet keiches. Here we're dealing with not the fact that there's mitzad not nefesh nesek keiches, not that we're dealing with nefesh which is pashut. And mitzad heder agdarasei is not mufrach keiches. We're saying something else. There's keiches akulam nefesh. We're doing all the mitzvahs of keiches. The way the nefesh is a marker for keiches. There's keiches in the nefesh. Within that itself, there's kamadark. Keiches agluyim are mukbalim. Chachma is a mitzias mukbelis and tzir chachma is a nekuda bin espratim. Keiches hanelamim, so he calls it hagbalim mufshetes. It's not hagbalim tzir. It's a hagbala in something which is mufshet from tzir, different type of hagbala. Like I said before, there's a toifanim in the hergesh a yichud of alakus, that the ayin is nimtza bakel, or that everything is kol in the ayin. So that's also in Agdara, but it's Agdara in pshitis, it's Agdara mufshetis. Then you add that there's higher than Agdara klal, but it's not that there's no. It's keiches the way they are pshitim legamri. And the mashal that he brought is from the din of chusha that when you get to yofi, that you have an eifim where there's Sir, which is Geirim Shittis, Sir, which is Geirim Yefi, but the Inya Adam, there's no you don't notice the Kavim Dakim. The Kavim Dakim are Me'era Yefi, but as a person sees the Tumuna, he's only Margish the Yefi, the Yefi Pashat, and there's no, it's not Nikr in the Yefi that is Neveah from these Kavim Dakim. So in the Mashal, there is Kavim Dakim there, but the Adam Haraya, Sat Sir, is not Mafchin in the Kavim Dakim. Shaken in the Nimshal, it's the pratim, their whole mahus is to bring out a pshittis, to bring out a yefi. So even though there is pratim which are geirim the yefi, but it's not eifin that it's not nirgash the pratim als pratim. It's a pratim the pshittis. That's the. In other words, we're dealing with sheresh hakelim. We're dealing with all the way that in a lakus there's kelim, in a lakus there's a mitzias. There's a marker for mitzias. But in the shade sharishin of kelim, it's in the kelim are bottled with tachlis to that. And the whole metzias hakeches is that through them, vert nisgale the pshitas elikus. At the end of the day, what's the meaning of keches of kelim? That there should be kelim in elikus, or the mitzvah shleima saying soft there's kelim. It's all mitzvah shleima saying soft there's kelim, and that inyan is Meir in Ak. So on one hand there's kelim. But the kelim is not nirgash as a mitzias outside of the fact that they're a prat in Shleimo Ein Sof, in the Pshita Ein Sof. So you have the Ein Sof, the way mitzad Ein Sof there's air. It's one thing. You have the Ein Sof, the way mitzad Ein Sof there's kelim. But the kelim, the way the Aranak is meir at them, the pnimius of what kelim is. That kol inyanim is the Pshita Ein Sof. That keiche bigvol. That there's the din of keiche bigvol. There's the din of kelim. That's the nekudas advarim. We're about to get to the keiches and nefesh. Let's see this. Can we even that much of basic nefesh? So what we want to bring out over here, the nekudah wants to bring out the gabi ak. We're going to see later is that on one hand we're not saying that in ak there is no mitzias of kelim. All that is here. We're not dealing with. We're not keiches akulam and nefesh is not the way the nefesh is mufshet legamri from keiches. We're dealing with keiches the way they are connected to the pshitas and nefesh. So we're dealing with spheres the way they're connected to the pshitas and nefesh. So So there's the kamadargis and asis. So first, asis adibur is aderech keiches agulim. So we're not dealing with his galus nefesh. Keiches, even though you're speaking about keiches, it's mashal for kelim, but keiches in yadam they're in yadam nafshim. They're gilui nafshi. Asis are not giluyim nafshim. They're mitzias. They're in of asis, not in of gilui. They're neveim mitzad the kava helam of the nefesh. In of asis nefesh. It's not asis are not a gilui nafshi. They're not a certain expression of nefesh. It's a different Indian. The Nevesh also has the Indian of Asis, the Indian of Helen. So you have Asis that Ibrahim Asis Murgashes Punas Yesh. The way the Asis come out in the Eifin of Yesh, Asis Murgashes. Asis Machshava, Indian Murgashes Kol Kach Be Yeshes. But Lepel they're Mitzis. Rakim Murgashim La'atzmi. So derech like you're saying when you get Hagbala of Hagbala Mufshetis. Means Asis HaMachshava, only the Azulas. And there's someone which is not one with the nefesh cannot be margish these aces, because they're not aces shamur goshim mamish for azulas, but they're within the person himself. But within the person himself, they're atheist. They're atheist morgashim. Within him, they're morgish. So what's that in the nimshal? Adarech lakeches, like the agbarim hagdarim of shetis. Within pshittis, there's tzir. That's a different union. Like him morgashim la'atzmi. The atheist shebechachme, it's higher than morgish. The atheist nekarim levad. Koshin atheist sheberasim etanik in nekarim kolkach. The common is all in of atheist and tzias mugbalas. There's no mugbalim of shetis. I've only built a mugbalim. To make the two, but that's all where it's not meir the etzma nefesh, the pshittis nefesh. Hin yidua sheish atheist gam be'etzma nefesh. Kamam ra nefesh malia atheist. But the atheist be'etzma nefesh einin bin tzias mugbalis klal. Ken shayach b'nefesh shum tzias mugbal. But him pshutim legamri mikolak balachulu. Mikolak mareim atheist. Sheish atheist b'nefesh. Sheish atheist pshutim legamri b'lishim agbalach klal. The atheist, the way the atheist is nirgash that they're also a prat, the mitis in atheist, which that's also a prat. That's the keach helam shebetzem hanefesh. So there it's nirgash that it's one with the pshitas hanefesh. Okay, yeah, the prat environment. I'll give him a sfiras da'ak. On one hand, we're saying shemchnas pshitas v'tachlis sham. That even though there's sfiras there, there's esher sfiras, but they're naifim where there's no inyan of hakbala klal, no inyan of tzir of hakbala. Shchinas betachlis. Ad kedei kach she'emdim shem kulam b'ashva. It's one nekuda. It's one nekuda sabshitas. Mebchinas chachma da'ak, the eine b'chinas metzias mugbelas klal v'klal is akbala shiyir. She'ine begeder v'akbalas ha'chachma klal. Elu b'chinas pshitas legamri. Kmeki b'chinas ambina da'ak, u'kahagnav gavne m'cholas esfiris da'ak. Not because in Yanam of Kalim is bleak vol. In Yanam of Kalim is a certain in of a mitzvahs. But b'shas der kulam and nefesh, it's nirgash that they're pnimis inyan, whereas your inyan is also a prat in the pshitas hanefesh. In other words, it's not because the etzem ohus ha'es, the etzem ohus of ak is pshitas, is heder mitzvahs. In Yanam of ak is a sherish a ratzin gali for elamis, in of his but it's the sherish of elam is the way it's kolul in Ein Sof. So there it's nirgash how the pnimius of kelim is that keiche bigvol. In chesed glad, in chesed is nikaras klal. Kumoshla naba keches atzmi ma pshutim, ukumoshla esis pshutim shebetzem nefesh that they're not the pchinas pshutis v'tachlis. Chen nikra eses first like news. Pchinas sasim v'nelam legamri. In pchinas mitzias nikaras klal.
What is the esis v'nefesh? That's nefesh.
Saying we don't have a tzir, in nafshatim. As he says before, we don't have a tzir in shittis in hakbala mushatis either.
Is it so? It's the same bar as what we were saying before.
Yeah, that's the same thing. To make a new another marshal basis shubanef. I'm saying that in the etzem nefesh is nirgash is mere the pshittis nefesh, so you don't have asis mukbalis there. It's not the way asis mukbalis is not a keli to the etzem nefesh. There can't be asis mukbalim in the etzem which is etzem ruchni upashit. So you have the asis the way they are connected to the makar asis. From where does it stem from that the nefesh has asis? That's also neveyam. There's two kavim mitzad the etzem nefesh. There's the kava gilui, and then there's the kava helam. In fact, that keiche bigvol. But keiche bigvol the way it is in etzem nefesh, so there it's meir that the inyan agvol is also a certain prat in shleimus ein sof. There's ein sof the way he's expressed in the kava gilui. And there's mitzad the fact that he's Ein Sof, he has the Yechelis HaHelam too. He has the Inyan of Helam, which has the Sherish HaKelim. But the Sherish HaKelim, the way it is there, is kolul within the Ein Sof, within the Pshittis.
So that's enough, which is more than just that idea of having the
it's godless of
Pshittis that are
Pshittis.
Pshittis.
Why are you saying it's more? So he brings two dugmais for this inyan. From Asis and from Keiches. You have the Keiches the way they call Betzim HaNefesh, you have Asis the way they call Betzim HaNefesh. The same way we understand the Gabi Asis that you cannot have Asis mukbalim be'etzem nefesh. In Ratzin or in Chachme and Seichel Gufa, which also you don't have mamish a tzir mukbal of Asis in the Gilead Ratzin itself before you're mamish in Asis in the Ratzin itself. But also there's the tenu of Asis there, but as a mitzis. Besides for the Ratzin, there's also the Asis which could contain the Ratzin, even though they're not mortgaged there. But you have two aspects in the Ratzin. So there's a certain gather of asis as a mitzis outside of the pshitas and nefesh. Masha'inki the way it's be'etzem nefesh mamish, there's no tzir, there's no nekud of asis. It's asis the way they're bottled, the way they're called in the etzem, which is pshitas v'tachlis. They're not an additional mitzis. Means Asis, the way it's Meir, how the Nekuda of Asis is the Keach HaGvul of the Ein Sof. See, it doesn't touch Asis this way, but that's the Mashmos. Hani was had the Bittul Shalem is Kaldusim made a social Meir back. In influence of Sism Bells, which is in Sism Nekeres. What's in Yanim of Asis? In Yani is Asis Tamaze, or it's Nirgash there that the Asis is also a prat and a expression of the fact that the Nefesh is not Mugbal. So Mitzad the Etzem Nefesh, what does Asis stem from? Mitzad the Etzem, he also has Asis. So the Asis also are Nevei Mitzad the Etzem. So the Asis, the way it's both prat. You have the Kavim cause a Yefi of Pshitas. So you have the Kavim Dakim, the way they're connected to a Yefi, which is not a Yefi, which is Mugbal Behesim to the Tzir. The Kavim Dakim bring out a certain Pshitas. And the Pshitas which is not a Dover Mitzir. They're connected to a Pshitas which is beyond Tzir. And the Asis, the way they're Atzma Nefesh, is Meir in them, the Pnimius of Asis, which is Neveim, it's at the Pshitas Nefesh. Inyanim is not Gilead Pshitas, like Eir. Inyani is that there's another Mitzat Shlema Ein Sof, Mitzat Shlema Etzem, there's also Asis. But there it's Meir, the Pnimius of the Asis. I'm saying that's the Nikr Mayim Agenim Sheme'al Barakia. What's hot to Satan Sheme'al Barakia? But there is it. Ki Bechlolu, was Pchinas, it's very Gluli, that's Amadis Kasi, Amadis Gai. He's coming to explain that the Asis, the Asis Agnuzis, Asis, the Spheres and Ak, is Mayim Agenim. That's what it is. Bechlolu, there's two Pchinas. There's Asis Agnuzis, Asis Agnuzis, Amadis Kasi, Amadis Gai. So Al Derech, like you have Kechas Agloyim and Kechas Analam. Or you have the Nivraim, which are Ptelim to the marker, and Nivraim, which are Metzias B'fnei Atzmo. He says, Pratis on Adekis, when some of this guy, you have Nibchinas Zov and Nukush and Mulubish Pashat and Elamis, Mulubish Bibya. Al Derech, like you have Keiches, the Eder Mulubish and the Yivar. So they're Murgish, the Karvalach of the Meach. Canal, the B'chinas Lamet, Kelim, the zone is Mulubish in Bria. So there, Hanivra Nire Yesh V'nifet. So there, it's Nikir, the Metzias Hanivra, and Elokus is Mulubish within the Metzias Hanivra. So that's the way the Metzias al derech Asis adibur. That is Asis mergoshim lezulas. So it's already a Metzias of Asis. So you have in of Gvul. In of Gvul, the way it is a Tzir of Gvul. The Nivra's Mayim, let's say, is a Metzias. And you have Chesed Elyon, the way it's Mulubish in Mayim. So there's a Metzias of Mayim. And Al-Kus is Mulubish within that Tzir. So what's Nirgash there? Chesed. And it's Nifrat from the Ein Sof. There's the Shlemas of Al-Kus and Chesed. Ahmed Iskasye Zobchinas Atzilis, there's Yichud Ilah. The Shama Keluchan has Bittul Kinuni Yama Shiyef Shali Snifit. Because the whole Gedra Kelim and Atzilis is that Ein Sof has Kelim. It's not Nirgash there in of Chesed. It's that Mitzat Shlema Ein Sof there's Chesed. So B'chlol says this Ahmed Iskasye. Why is it Ahmed Iskasye? Because in Atzilis is Nirgash, it's not that there's Chesed and Al-Kuz is Mislavish and Chesed. That the whole in of Chesed is Be'etzem Al-Kuz is Ein Sof. We're higher, there's no, but Mitzat Shlemusa, you also has Chesed. So it's all Mitzat Shlemusa in Sof. So B'chol is Al Derech Nuna Yama. Why you can't detach them from the water? Why? Because the whole Metzias is the water. It's not that there's a Metzias of fish, and they're independent being. If they're independent beings, so they're independent. So what do they need? Why do they have to be called to the Makkah? There's Negash that the whole Metzias is an extension of their Makkah. They're not their own being. There's a Kelim Datzilis. Chesed is not a entity for itself. Chesed in itself has no Metzias at all. Is that the Ein Sof is a Shalim, and the Ein Sof also has Chachma. So you detach it from the Ein Sof, there's no Chachma. So that's a different cloth. I'm saying that was the Shiur Chazir, but I'm saying there's Elokus, there's the Kav Agilin Elokus, there's in of the Skalos Elokus, and then there's another Kav, the fact that Elokus has Kelim, which is another function, another Mailet, so to speak. That Elokus also is there's the Kechahelim, or the fact that also Chachma is Elokus. That not only that Ein Sof is mispashet and alifanim, but that the truth of Chachma, the Amitis Amitzias is Elokus. Different biyurim, what's the mile of Kelim? But in Atzilis, it's nirgash that the whole Nekud of Kelim is the fact that Ein Sof has a Shleimus HaKelim, not a Metzias for itself. So, but there commercial Asis Adibur. So there's Asis Adibur which already misgaleh lazulas, and that's already nifred mina adam from the makar Adibur. There's Asis. That's the way it is in Biyah. So it's his Asis. There's no gather of Asis. It's that the nefesh is thinking. The nefesh has the mile of having Asis. There's no mitzvah of Asis outside of the fact that the nefesh is thinking. Because what's the gather of Asis the way they are machshava? It's his Asis. There's no Asis outside of the fact that it's his Asis. Biyah is already a mitzvah of chachma, a mitzvah of chesed. Mashik and Atzil is no mitzvah of chachma and chesed. Is that the Eibishter is also a chachma. The Eibishter is also a chesed. And that's why because Yanzu Shoyi is Chabers Atzilus Biyah, Ksiv Vayiru Es Havaye. So what's the pshat Vayiru Es Havaye? Hainu Eisis Mi Aleph Atov. Kamesh Nechlolim B'Sharshim B'Atzilus. Shemchnes Bittul Chuliyah. That's the what's the Vayiru Es Havaye because it was Nizgala Amad Diskasya. So they saw the Eisis, they saw the Sfiris, the way they are in Havaye, the way they are in Atzilus. Meshach Libin Biyah Bashal Amad Diskasya Amad Diskasya B'Chines Atzilus Biyah. When Eisis Amachshava Nikra Yam, Eisis Adibur, so derech the chiluk between Atzilus and Bria, Atzilus and Evraim, Al Kach Yesh Hedel Zegam, es Sfiris Atzman. Within es Sfiris itself, which Bechlol is not Atzilus. Chachma is not Chachma. Chachma is that Alakus also has Chachma, but there's a with Al derech the chiluk between Yam V'Yabashav and Pashtus, Evraim and Atzilus. So the chiluk between in es Sfiris the way they are in Alakus Gufa. This es Sfiris like Luyis, Nikra Amad is Galye, which that's Shebavayid Lasata. Es für Zagnus ist nicht Sosin. Weil die Jesem ist dem Maskal wie in Sof betachas a bittel bei Skalish. In dem Kines Messias klar. Yeah, that's al derech the chiluk between Amad Isgali and Amad Iskasya. That an Amad Isgali is together of Chachma. And Amad Iskasya is Chachma, is that Elokus is also Chachma. So al derech zeh within the Tziyur being nift from the Ein Sof, from the Pshittis Amad. The Natzilus is nirgash that Elokus, that the mitzvah of Chachma is Elokus. The mitzvah of Chesed is Elokus. And in Ak, it's that it's nirgash the pnimis in Begoli. That Chachma v'Chesed is keiche of Ein Sof Bigvol. We're within the Ein Sof. In Atzilus is Chachma. And what's Chachma? That Elokus is also a Chachma. Not like in Biyah, where Chachma is Chachma. In Atzilus, the whole mitzvah of Chachma is that Elokus is also a Chachma. But we're dealing with Chachma. Mashenkin in Ak, it's the way Chachma is in Ein Sof. That keiche bigvol. So it's not nirgish there are gather of Chachma outside of the fact that Ein Sof is keiche bigvol. It's all a prat in Ein Sof. Ze move another razeh.
What's the fact that it's in Biyah? What's that adding? What's that? If it's a
saying al derech the same two in we're not saying that in Atzilus, Amad Diskasi we're saying, we're not saying that there's no Metzius in Amad Diskasi. We're not saying, what I want to bring out is, even when you say in Ak that they're all Bashva, we're not coming to say that they don't exist, that there's no Sfiris in Ak. Regular, the marshal of Ratzin Gali is, in Ratzin there's no Keiches. It's a Ratzin for Keiches, but the Ratzin himself is Mufshit from Keiches. He wants to say over here is he wants to bring out that Atzilus is not, that Ak is not Ratzin, not Mufshit from Sfiris. It's Sfiris in a Ifin of Eskasi, in a Ifin of Nela. Bedugma, it's like Amad Isgali and Amad Iskasi. There's no Chachmen, there's it's the same Metzias. The Shas, if the Metzias is menutek from the Makar, or it's bottled to the Makar. So al derech zeh, there's Metzias, the way there's Begoli, all within Tvekas in the Makar, but the way the Chachma Shebazeh is Begoli, and the way the Chachma is Kolul and Ein Sof. So even the way the Chachma is Kolul and Ein Sof Mamish, which that's an Ak, it's Chachma the way Chachma is Kolul and Ein Sof. Not that there's no Chachma. That's what you want to bring out of here. The Aces there, as we're saying the whole time, there's Aces. The question is, in what Eifin is the Aces? So there you have Amad Iskasi and Amad Isgali. That you have Elam is Mergosh and B'chinas Yesh. Like in Biyah, there's Chachma v'Chesed. Mashik and Natzilis, there's no Chachma v'Chesed. There's, that the Eibusher is also a Chachma. That what's Chachma, that a Lakus is that means the Chachma in itself is not a Metzias. Natzilis, there's no such thing Chachma. Is that the Eibusher also has the Ma'il of Chachma. But within that itself, it's not Meir the fact that is that there's also the Ma'il of Chachma, that the Eibusher is also Chacham. And the Eibusher is also a Gibber. And is also Chacham v'Chesed. Mashikin and Ak, it's the way Sfiris are in the Ein Sof himself. Kol ben Keira, Kol in the Ein Sof. It's not Nirgash der Chachma v'Chesed. It's Nirgash that Ein Sof is Keiche B'Gvul. Not that there's not this before the expression of the Inyan. Before the Inyan is Nizgale, the Metzias of Gvul Eliki. Before there's a Metzias of Chachma v'Chesed Eliki. It's within the Ein Sof. Before there's a Tzir of Chachma v'Chesed. We're beyond Tzir. And there's the way the Spheres are in the Pshitas Ein Sof. Atzilus is was ready in Nizgale, the Keiche Gvul of Elikos. Was Nizgale Lepa? There's Gvul Eliki. There's Chachma Elikis. There's Chesed Eliki. Ak is the way the Chachma v'Chesed is Klulim in the Ein Sof. So what's Nirgash there? That the Ein Sof is Keiche B'Gvul. So it's the way the Gvuls are prat in the Ein Sof. So it's out there, the Chiluk can Amma discuss it, Amma discuss. Let's see what he says here. Kach yeshavu in gambes firis atzmon midas firis agvul shenikra Amma discuss she would start shema bayit al sata. Gabes firis agnuzis shenikra sosim. Why is it called sosim? Li yesim is achdim umeskalim be'Ein Sof. Betachlas habitul vayiskalus she'enim chnis mitzis klal. There's only an Ein Sof, and this Ein Sof is keiche b'gvul. And we call it Eshes Spheres, but it means the Eshes Spheres are in such a state that their whole Inyan is Ein Sof. It means the whole Inyan of Spheres is Ein Sof. V'leikim maybe in such lifin at Tzimtzum where there's only him, Shalei Yeshem Spheres klal. We're dealing with Spheres the way they're bottled the kol and the Ein Sof. Sheikh Lifnat says there's no Spheres, there's only the Eibishter. Mishgazi Beitz Chaim Shal Yitzdak Teir Spheres Vein Sof, which is barely it. Aber ba'akar Yeshem Spheres. Al Shein B'chinas Pshitas Leishin Yeshem Spheres Klal. Shebezem moved al Ak Me Ein Sof. Kanal B'Shem Ama B'Shem. Zeh Ini Shem Avad L'Eila, es Spheres Sheberatzim Al Shabbat B'Medar. Yeah, I'm saying it's not, it's a little bit, a little bit. Yeah, exactly. I'm saying it's not in Yonim Betzir Kol Kach. What was that? Vayikra Havaya Havaya. So there's Havaya L'Sata. That's the Spheres, the way they come in the Metzias of Gilui. There's Chachma. There's Chachma is a Tzir of Chachma. Bina is a Tzir of Bina. What's the Pshat is the Tzir of Chachma? Because Elikus is also could also come in the Tzir of Chachma. But the way Elikus comes in the Tzir of Chachma, so that it's not Nirgash Ein Sof. It's the result. Because the Ein Sof is Shlemus the Kula, so it comes in the Tzir of Chachma. But what's Nirgash in Tzir of Chachma that still says that there's a Elikus and there's a Klei Chachma. Mashiach in Ak, it's the Pshit Ein Sof. And within Ein Sof, it's Chachma. It's a different meaning. So Vayikra Vaya Vaya, what's the dig? Vayikra Vaya Vaya. So Hainu, Hemshech Mishma Vayid Leila, Mishma Vayid L'Sata. Means the Hemshech from Esses Firis the Ak. As Olver and Esses Firis the Atzilis, he uses the Lashon Vayikra. That Pchinas Kriya of Hemshech Helam Agil Levad means that it's not a Chiddush, it's not a different Inyan. Just in the Esses Firis, like in Pchinas Pshitas Legamri, Shem Pchinas Mitzis Klal. Actually, Esses Firis that's it. Pchinas Mitzis Klal. Actually, Ba'akesh Hakapan Pchinas Firis. Ein ze Pchinas Eschachos. It means in Ak, it's not Ein Sof the way Ein Sof is mufshis from Spheres. It's that Keiche B'Gvul. And that Keiche B'Gvul, that's Nizgale B'M Tzias in Atzilus. That's Nizgale in Atzir in Atzilus. So it's not a new Inyan. That Chachma, which is Keiche of Ein Sof B'Gvul, is mismamish, let's say. It's materialized. It's Nizgale L'Poyel in Chachma. So now he's going to go back to Kfet HaShai. Look, if there's Yesh v'Yesh Nizayim, he says, Bein B'Shem Esavaya now, Yesh P'sik time in B'Gavai. Yikra Avaya Avaya, so there's P'sik time in B'Gavai. Yisa B'Zoyar, B'Zidr Rabbi Dav Kuflam Tchesem Ad Aleph steht, V'hainu Rosa de Taninon, Havaya Avaya P'sik time B'Gavai. Kul Asar, the Shmo Yitkeri Trezimni, anytime there's a name mentioned twice, one after another, P'sik time B'Gavai. Again, Avram. Why? Why is there a P'sik time B'Gavai? Because Basra, Shlin Kadmo Loish. Aval Moshe Lei P'sik time B'Gavai. The Miyema Disyalit Shlim Havir. Yeah, there was no Zman. At first he was incomplete, later he was complete. Like Atchili he was Shalom. Ufach, yeah, they're like Moshe, it's Avaya, Kadmo Shlim, Basra Shlim B'Kulu. So still, out there like Moshe Leipzig time. Yes, Chuli. Nimur Mashkos Ufachi Avaya. Nash Zok Moshe. Lo Lishom Leipzig time. Have the Damas Avram. It meant again, it's not coming Hemshech Tomesh, it's coming Hemshech Avram. What's it? Basra Leishlim, Hainu Chneshavai Leila. This Chneshavai Lasata, that's the Kadma. And the next one, Basra, is the higher Dargi, Havai Leila, and that's Shlim. It means that's Miyuchad B'Dein Sof. But here he wants to touch Nishas. If Yishleim, the Medam, the Psik time of Shabbat Vayis, the Psik time of the Meish, the Psik time, Avram is like a Psik time, and there's like a Hefsik. The way he's going to touch in the Hemshech Hamayim. Ink in Moshe, there's no hefsek. Al derech the Moshe, there's no hefsek. Even though there is a hefsek, Afa Bekein is like Moshe and Alik Avram.
What's the Bible way reading?
Exactly. Makam Achri Taich is that Uf Hachi is going on Avram, not Moshe.
It says.
A big Moshe derech Hagav. Avram sick time. Moshe is anders, but Azemi with that klal.
It says Kamosh Lim by Shem Hashem Kamosh Lim Basra.
So Basra is going to by the Leila.
They're both Shlim.
No, he says not. Basra Shlim Kadmo Leishlim.
Shem Hashem Afachi.
Oh, Shalom Bekulu, good. Say Kadmo, Shalom Basra, Shalom Bekulu. Higher rate. So So here he wants to teach Nemaim that the Shleim are the Medam against the Kam Shabbat Vayis when sleep the time of the Mesh. So that is the normal situation. Hine Ma Shavram Avram. Psik time of Gavayu Hainu the Commission Yoda the Shmas Avram Beilam Abrio Bein the Recht the Klal Gam Madrigas Atzilus. Because we guys get some Tzavi Masalav and Mashalom Mitzvah. Yeah, you brought it before in the Mamre also. Amid this Gali and Amid this Gasi. The way that it is in Biyah and Atzilus is Bein the Recht Klal. Because Amid is Gali and Biyah it's a Metzias Shemichutz LaMakir. Mashik and Atzilus is battle to the Makir. That's Ein Arich Klal. It's a whole different meaning. So Adar, as they say, we see Avram the way it is in Atzilus. We have Avram is Hemshech in Bria, so this Bein Arich. Of course, we guys get when the Lord Masalav and the Mashalom Mitzvah that Mishteit. Be'inin v'anechi offer ve'efer. So Avram said that he's offer ve'efer. B'hainush einim chines muzek la'al derech. Like when the Alter was Meirach over there, when they get an eitz, so you have an eitz godel from the Lemara, and then you have the offer and the efer. After you burn the tree, what's left of it? Some ashes. There's no erech klal between the ashes to the eitz with the whole pe'er v'yayfer, and the eitz is the ganze tzir. Even though the offer and the ashes are mimhusa eitz. So there is Avranich over ve'efer that Avram lamato, the Gabi Avram, the way it is Natzilis, is offer ve'efer. Shalei be'erech klal. Panu chadashes. Ava Moshe leiset ham Gabi. Why should Gambi yidasi lamato hey b'chnas shama Natzilis mamish? But in Ishtanim mimhusa klal. The same muhus. The same bittul, same chachma. Moshe was nirgash in his chachma that the whole mitzvah of chachma is that a lakus is nizgada through chachma. That it's that the fact that a lakus is tachas hashleimus, he also has the ma'il of chachma. And the whole mitzvah of chachma was that it's that the Eibusher is a shalom. No other mitzvah, no other in outside of that. But elamatik Moshe u b'atzilus mamish. And them zok that ufachi pumt as we when get to Moshe. Even though he was lamato and atzir goli, so atzilus is he was lamata and it's geret here. It was a diber gashmi. This diber gashmi adas atzilus. That's the lakus also has by him the whole mitzvah is a lakus. So al derech zavaya psik time kadmosh lemasrosh lemikulu that even when they get to havaya even though atzilus is gilu and it's nergash der chachma v'chesed, but it's chachma v'chesed. That's all it's all the shleimus of keiche bigvul. We're not leaving the union of keiche bigvul. P'chinas psik time and Avram psik time and Moshe leit psik time. That's the parsa. Haina, but that's the parsa of Segun Sos the Brit. Shadei is Mishtan was not. Like the parsa means the mashal. Al derech you say you have an air. So you have one eifin is that you've made that there's a wall blocking the air. You have a little hole, and the light goes through that hole. So the light that goes through the hole is less than the quantity of light that's there in the room, but it's the same mahus. Can you put a curtain and the air is bekeah the masach? The air that's bekeah the masach is a whole different eichus of air because the air which is nimshach de hefsek. It's a different. It's air shel tulda. Once you have the mashal that you have an eifim where the Rav is megal seichel. It's a talmud which is shaychus elam seichel. So the Rav can't tell him the whole emek asvaras. He's mitzamtzim it, but it's all within the same level, within the same caliber, within the same. He's giving you an idea. Depth of the idea, or more the chitzein is the version of the idea. Mashik and a mashal means that the Talmud is not a keli to hear an idea, to hear a concept. a story, versteht a davar gashmi, a davar mukhshi, understands. So you bring him out the Indian through a davar mukhshi. So you can't understand the concept of Raiv against the mute. You tell a kid the concept, not going to understand the concept, but you could show him that if you have 9 chveis red and 1 blue box, and then you find the chveis, so he sees that he's going to count it, he sees more. So through seeing B'amchashi, he sees the story, from there he can get to the concept. But directly, he's not a kedita concept. He sees only touchable reality. So you're being megala the seichel through a levush, which is totally not me'inin ha-seichel. Through mishash, is the way the inin is being misbate through a phenomena that's not a seichel d'kinin. That's a parsa. See, there's a masach. The masach is not air. And Hagan, there's a masach. The air is bekeah the masach. So the air is bekeah the masach. It's not pure light. It's light the way it comes through something which is a davar zarmin air. That's atzilus and biyah. Biyah, everything is mushish nalakus. But chachma durei zalakus is mufshet legamri from mitzias. There's no mitzvah of chesed outside of the fact that the Eibishter is also a chesed, that the Eibishter is talas hashleimus. Mashikin in biyah, there's a gather of chesed. There's a mitzvah of chesed. Even in the chesed, the way it is in biyah, ayit kam mizbein zayin. We're learning the Rambam. Mizbein zayin in the flois of habeira, and he sees that in Mayim he sees marabah masach Hashem. Even if he sees marabah masach Hashem in Mayim, but water is water, and you could also see the flois habeira in the yam. That's not the whole gather ayam. So there's a parsa, which is mailim and even though the air is meir, but it's meir b'makim rachik, it's meir b'makim zar, it's meir in a place of a mitzias. That's shalei be'er klot, the way the Indian is b'amitas. The way chesed is b'sharsha, the whole mitzias of chesed is that al-kus is pale the mile of chesed. Mash'ink in the way you see the flois haber in mayim in biyah is that there's a mitzias and still there's a reflection of the Eibishter's godless, but it's shalei be'er klot. It's the gili, the way it comes through in the mitzias. So that's the parsha. So Avram b'm pesik time. The parsha l'matak k'mishin amos l'kabel shorsh is a chishin amos. Moshe leip pesik time. Why should they call by a parsha? V'hei l'matak mi b'shorsh l'mayim. Then he adds here, chine noida sheyesh p'nes parsha is gone. He wants to explain it like this. So Moshe, the parsha wasn't peil on it. That's why Moshe leip pesik time megavai. Atzilus biyah. There's a parsha that's atzilus biyah. Avram the parsha peil given. Moshe the parsha nish peil given. So Havaya has a time. That means Havaya there is a parsha. But Sazam is third parsha which is b'doime to Moshe being going through the parsha ben Atzilus biyah. Understand the? When we're dealing with Moshe and Avram, we're dealing with Atzilus l'umas biyah. There's a parsha mafsik. So Moshe Rabbeinu was not affected by that parsha of Atzilus biyah. So Moshe Rabbeinu, so there's no pesik time. Because which parsha should have been there, so to speak? From Moshe Rabbeinu from Atzilus biyah. The parsha ben Atzilus biyah, which that parsha b'derech klal is a parsha mafsekis. But Moshe was a mafsek. Moshe is a kid, he didn't go through a parsha. And so we're saying Havaya, there is a pesik time. That means that there is a parsha, but not the same parsha of Atzilus and biyah. A different parsha, a parsha between Atzilus and Ak. And we want to say that parsha is Aderech Moshe Rabbeinu's not going through the parsha of Atzilus and biyah. That's the dimid that wants to say it. So we can't just talk about Havaya late pesik time because pesik time means there's no parsha. There is a parsha, but not the same parsha of Atzilus and biyah that we're dealing with about Moshe and Avram. The parsha of Atzilus and Lamalim Atzilus. And we want to say that the parsha between Atzilus and Lamalim Atzilus is al derech the Moshe late pesik time. That's the cheshbon advarim. Zema says that. Says, chnei shesh b'chinas parsoyes gam lamalim atzilus. Mishkos yedil apreish lechem in Hachodesh and Hachodesh Hachodesh when it's atzilus Hachodesh because when it's lamalim atzilus. Parsha means in atzilus is not nirgash in sof. If it's nirgash in sof, there's no gather of chachma v'chesed. B'chdei is on the zgalevern elikus and chachma is a nekuda. In order for a likus to come to tzir of chachma, which is a nekuda, can't be nirgash in sof begoli. So there's a parsha between chachma, the way it is in Ein Sof, to the way chachma is gal in the tzir of chachma. But omnam eini deima parsha shel malim atzilus a parsha shel atzilus biyah. It's not deima. Ikra hefreshu the parsha shel atzilus biyah kimay muhuzar shemedaber min nachar shalem min atzilus. Yes, before the mashal of a mashal. Avla parsha shel Ein Sof amatzil atzilus eini kimay shemedaber min muhuzar. Hainu she'ina parsa ma'alemet even gazel lis mishtana adavar sheyikim hus acher. Elo eisem us k'mishul ma'am in a parsa. The parsha is just that this mahos should be nizgalit. And b'mela, since the mahos is being nizgalit and tzir of chachme, it can't be nirgash ein sof. But it's the same mahos. The nekuda is that ein sof keiche b'gvul. In order as on nizgalit ver der keiche b'gvul, which that's the same mahos of ak. Ak is not ein sof who is mushas from spheres. That ein sof keiche b'gvul. Aber chdei is on nizgalit ver der keiche b'gvul. This mahos, it cannot be nirgash the Indian the way it is b'makim.
Is it the window of a curtain?
He's not saying. He's saying it's a parsa which is there has to be a helim, but it's not a helim which is l'shem shine mahos. It's a helim in order for it to be nizgale, not l'shem shine of what's the mahos in it. He brings a mashal later. We'll see in a minute from Nitas and Abuka. A marshal when it's not book will bring to us. Oh, later. You see, look, see, this will be brings. But in a parsa, shvin shem savai, so be not quite. Ime yeshu psik time, that means that there is a parsa. As is is the Titacha says, as is the Kim Khnas Pshitis, Khnas Hadram Tsirs the Gamri. But it's Spheres. So here's Pshitis, and no Hagbal, and no Tzir. But that's some Khnas Mitzias. Mitzias from Pshitis is a psik time. Mikoma came in the Mohusi, this is Alba Mohus. In the Shini Betzim Mohus. The Mikoma came Hein Khnas Heshes Spheres die. Which is very little, Chacham Tzilz, as Shanas is Khnas Mitzias. Okay. So Sham, the Zer, it says, Ufach Havai Khnas Psik time with Havai, so you can lay Psik time with the Meish, Shlein the Psik time, there's a parsa between Atzilus and Ein Sof, is out there like the Shlein Shtanim Musi. Meichem Khnas Psik time with Havai, so Meish is up Khnas parsa, we call me, as first Havai, Lasat Mashad Muhud, Klam, as first Havai the Leila. So Vayikra, Havai, the Gam Psik time with Havai, and call me, so Vayikra. Shukhin Sam Shacham, and Malagil, Kishin Shtan, the parsa, so call me Shacham, the parsa. Yeah. Yes, ma, I'm saying.
So what's the difference between Atzilus and Biyah?
It's a different mahos.
In Moshe, where it's like to.
Moshe Rabbeinu was Nizgadol, was Nicker and Gashmi Se'elim, you're able to hear his voice. But from Moshe Rabbeinu's point of view, his voice in Gashmi is a voice is a voice. You can use the voice for the sake of the Eberstein. Moshe Rabbeinu was Negesh. The whole idea of the fact that it's being heard by Gashmis is that a Lakus should also be heard in a physical sense. That was the whole Metzias of Gashmis. That in order for a Lakus to be heard even in a physical way, there wasn't a gather of a Metzias of Gashmis outside of the blikval of a Lakus. And Salderach Zer and Atzilis, even though Atzilis is Tzir, L'umas Ak, which is Pshitis, but it's the same Mahos. The Nukud of Ak is the Keach Ein Sof B'Gvul. Also, the Nukud of Atzilis is Keach Ein Sof B'Gvul. But Keach Ein Sof, the way it comes in a Gvul Take, in a Tzir of Chochma V'Chesed, same Mahos.
And Biyah is just more of a goal.
No,
So it's inside. It's
talking about a Moshe. You can say it like that. Yeah. He's not discussing it. Please, it's a Tzorch Leimar. The Mashkasa Beitz Chayin Mishalas Mas V'Chnas Tzimtzum Bak Levad. Hainu B'Shalei Eir is that Tzilus. Means you don't need an additional Tzimtzum after Ak. In Eir is one Mahus. You don't need a Tzimtzum. Eir is this Galus Ein Sof. Eir is not Tzir. So you don't need a says in Scham that for Eir is that Tzilus, you don't need a parser. From Ak to Tzilus, you do not need a parser. Why? Because the Gabi Eir is this Galus Ein Sof. It's the same Tnu as Eir and Ak. Eir and Ak is this Galus L'kus L'Achar Tzimtzum. The same Nukud is Atzilus. Not only the same Nukud in Mahus, it's the same even in Mitzias. Because Eir in Yani is not Tzir, in Yani is Pshitis. In Yani is this Galus Ein Sof. Masha'enkin Kalim in Yanim is Tzir. Masha'enkin and Kalim, the way they are in Ak, are Pshitis. So for that, you need to have a psik time. Yeah, Avlam Shachas Kalim, Tzilus and Kalim, the Akwa, the Parsel. My Parsel is supposed to be it. So I don't remember exactly, but I think Rabbeinu connected this. that there's a Sikha the Rebbe, this is also described at Pashas Emer, a Sikha Chelik Zayin, that it says, but I remember the Pratim now, but it says that Lekechem, what does it say? Lekayin lei tame ba'amav. There is mechalik. There's a two pchinas. There's pchinas kain hedit and alakus, and there, the fact that the Eibush there is not. What does it say over there? Lekayin lei tame ba'amav. Lekayin turnish from tamazeh. So how was the Eibush mit tame to kvaras meishin? That's. So since the kain gadol, b'meila it's not. The kain gadol, so then it's different. It's eish. What steht there? I don't know. No, okay, but the Rebbe says over there that there's two inyanim in Holocaust. There's the pshitus of Holocaust, the let's say mein amar, the mar which is legamni merleim from Elamis. Maybe is ain't safe, and is this galas etzem kameshu. This galas etzem kameshu. This galas etzem kameshu. So and that's the kava and you have. And that's one. And then you have the end of kelim and alakus. Besides for the kavagilu, that the etzem is ein sof, and the etzem is mispashet kameshuhu. Alakus also has the pchin of kelim. He also has the shlemus of mitzias. He has the shlemus that he's the greatest chachim and the greatest giber. Means you have the mile that is beyond mitzias, which that's the nkud of There's gadlus apshitus of alakus. And then you have that he also has the mile of tzir. And that's the end of Esesfiris, Chacham, Chesed. The Ratzah Elyon is that all the Nano Kush should be in Nizgal Lamata. Everything should be Nimshach in Nizgal Lim. But there's Mechalik there, so you have the whole Chazal is Moli, Mashal Lamada B'Dayma. There's Mashalim Lamata. For every Mitzias really is a Mashal to the Inyan the way it is Lamaila. We always say that the Mashal is the Inyan Dayma Nimshal because the way the Inyan is Nizgal in Bria, by definition, it can't bring out the full Inyan the way it is in Elokus. Because if it's being Nizgal in Gashmis has Akbalis, and Elokus is not Mugbo. So every Inyan, the way it's Nizgal Lamata, is going to be different than the way it's Nizgal Lamayla. But there's a difference between the way Eir is Nizgal Lamata and the way Kelim is Nizgal Lamata. The Pshit, on one hand, there's a different pattern there, but the Nekudas Advarim is that saying the air is never relates to the property where it's being nizgal. It's not a mitzvah. It's not a mitzvah. It's not a tzir. It's never shaykhas to the mitzvahs. So the ein arech of air lamata. Air is always shlilas on mitzvahs. You're mufshit from velt. That to know what's up, there's dargis and how much is nirgash the being mufshit from gedar elam. But then there is the fact that the lakus is also the mocker of mitzvahs. Make a think for that, you know what I'm looking at that part here he's saying that air is not, you don't need a parsa because air in Yoni is shlilas hamtziyas. So it's not even when he's in Nizgal Lamata, and it's nirgash shlilas hamtziyas in a lower degree, but you don't. But he's not really mesiachas to the tzir of Lamata, because in Yoni is that the inyan of shlilas hamtziyas should be nirgash even in a lower mitziyas, but in Yoni is not being mislabish in that mitziyas. In Yoni is shlilas hamtziyas. Mashikin in Kalim, where it's the fact that the Lakus is the mocker for mitziyas. So Kalim Lamaila is the mitziyas the way it is in the Lakus. And you have the way that Inyan, the way is also a makkah for the mitzvahs, lamata. So there you can't. So when he's mishtal lamata, he's taken besamtzim according to the lamata. So there is not. So there, on one hand, the hagbala, the Inyan, the way it is lamata, is more closer to the way it is lamayla on one hand, because the Inyan lamayla is also a mitzvahs of tzir, but leidach it's more bein arich. Saying is what he's saying here is that Chachma Datzilis, the Kalim in Yanim is that the Lakus also is Kalil, he's the Sherish HaMetzias, the Makar from Metzias. He also has the Mile of Chacham V'Chesed. The way this in it is in Ein Sof, there's no Nirgash Chacham V'Chesed. The way it comes out, the way it's in Zgala, is in Yoni of Kalim, Ein Sof, or Yoni of Kalim is the Mile of Chacham V'Chesed. In Yoni is the Mile of Chacham V'Chesed. So it's Ve'in Arech Legabi It's Makar. That's what I'm saying. It is that Tzilis, even though the way they're in Ak, it's in a higher Eifin, the Eid in Ak is mere Ein Sof B'Tachlis. Mash Inge, the way the Eid is Nimshach and Tzilis. It's Ein Sof, the way it's Nirgash and Tzir, let's say. But he's never relates to the Tzir, really. Because in Yoni is the Ein Sof. Mashake and Atzilis Sharshe in Shed in Ak, the whole gather of the Nir Hergesh of Atzilis is that Ein Sof is Keiche Bigvul. But Atzilis is the expression of that. That he's the Makar, that a Likus is the Makar from Metzias. Contains within himself all the qualities of Metzias. Chachma, V'Chesed, Gibber. He contains within himself all the qualities of Metzias. So in Kalim, we do relate to the Tzir of Chachma V'Chesed. So that's Ve'en Arech, the way Kalim are the Makar, where there's no Metzias of Chachma V'Chesed. But it's the same with us. In Yoni is that a Likus is Klil HaMailas. Is Klil all the Mailas. But the way this kav is nizgal is, so when it's nizgal lepoil, there's a slapshus in the tzir. Mitzad that is bein arech. When is nizgal in a lower degree, in a lower darga, it's not nisiyachas to the tzir hatachta. So it's not bein arech. You don't need a parsa. Mashake in kelim when it's nizgal, so it's nisiyachas to the tzir, and yamot it's not nirgash the ein sof shebezeh. The kei chay bigvul. It's nirgash the fact that he's bigvul. The chacham v'chesed. So Mela there you need a parsa. But it doesn't, but not because B'mhus it's a different thing. Because there's galus, in this galus of Chacham v'Chesed, is not nirgash the makar, the Ein Sof. Yeah, I mean, this is like, Lamer, you know, so bad. Pisa Yitur, it's Kushya now, Eichi, Savas Yashin Yashin, the regular Hela. Tiritz Kushya is that there's a parsa. Fianal B'em Zoa de parsa. I think so, yeah. So the inner parsik made over a mafsik. Shemisalemes hamshacha ba'parsik. She's probably going to be the brascha now. She's a commercial shelig. Lost in mind, safe in mind, ve'emse in mind. Oh, she's geluderach. Means there is that parsa with a whole shinya mahus. Shelig is geluderach. The emtza is not fully detached from water, but it's also not fully water. Yeah, Pidin Shelig is not, there's no psul of shuvim in snow. But it's Hasheni Gilu Derach. Eine B'chinas Helm legamish et Ishtana Hamshach. Am Akom Kim Hoy Behefz. אז אין המשך סכנה שיש בחינת המשך המלא הגילה שנשתנה מכל כל הדף סקפרס. אוקיי. לפי זה, הנה, אם המשך המלא הגילה להרס, המשך בקהילה. It's not usually not bizarre because by Eres is no parsa, Mashiach might come to the parsa. Maybe be'etzim is supposed to mean that the Savas Akelim, the Savas Eres, Savas Eres, I mean, in Yonim is Gili Amakar. In Yonim is, that's the word. Since in Yonim is the Vekas Vimkair, and their Metzias is not Messiachis to the Tzir where they're Meir. Even though the Eres is Nimshach Lamata, it is the way it is Besharsha, and the way it is Meir in Kalim. But the way it is Meir in Kalim, he's not Messiachis to the Tzir Hamata. In Yan is that the alien should be nirgash. So his muhus is always the alien. So mitzad there's no kab. Means that the mak, there's never an Indian of that the makar is not nirgash. It's the makar being nirgash in the lower reif. Because in Yanam of Kalim is not the hergesh hamakar. That keiche bigvul. That means that the makar is a mitzias. So Mela, so in Kalim, B'shas he's a makar from Metzias, so it's Nergash he's a makar from Metzias, he's a makar for Chachma. He's Keil Chachma, he's Keil Chesed. But Mikom came, wasn't the Pshat of his Keil Chachma v'Chesed? Because in Tzaf is Keil Bigvul. So it's not, but in Yani is not this Galus in Tzaf. In Yani is the fact that in Tzaf is Keil Gvul. So it's, in Yani is not the Hergesh HaMakar in the Eifin of Chachma. In Yani is that in Tzaf is Keil Chachma. This is Einim Chenes Dekas. But Mikom came, his Mahus is that a likus is keil chach. Kon ko eis am hus mamish. Kemei kein kezal kemor magmach zal kemei der mashal nitzes shnivd man abuka. The nitzes is nivd off from the abuka. So in other words, not tzilis and chachme is not nirgash the makar which is ein sof. But the muhus say it's the same fire, same muhus. So ak is keiche bigvul. What tzilis also keiche bigvul. But Keiche B'Gvul Poil is that he's a Makar for Gvul, a Makar for Chachma. A Makar for Chachma and Ein Sof is Nish Nirgash. Okay, this is in the beginning of Hachodesh. He says that in a certain way, Kalim are more shaykhs to say kinyan than Legabe Er. That's the same Mahus Mamish. Mashiach and Er is not the same Mahus Mamish. But Le'idach, there's a mile in air which doesn't exist in Kalim. That there's never a period from the mother. If it's the same Mahus, or there's always Hergish HaMakir. In Kalim, the mile of Kalim is the same Mahus. It's Keiche B'Gvul. Mashiach and Natzil, in air, it's not the same Mahus in a way, because the air, the way it's different at Simsim is the cloud is no gather of Elamis. Mashiach, the way the air, the way it's Nergish, Edel Lavad in Elamis, there's the Metzias and its bottle. It's not the same Mahus. Le'idach, air never leaves. In Yoni is his Galus HaMakir. Mashiach and Ak, the way it's this Gala, the Shadish of Gvul, in Chacham is not Nergish Ein Sof. If you're a Makar for Gvul, so that's Kaviyachal a stira to be married to Ein Sof Shebizah. So it's the same Mahus, but it has to be nivdal from the Makar. The Makar is not Nergish. Yeah, that's the Nekuda very from Kloli. Yeah, the Zeo is the Siyum. We're going to learn we'll learn the Siyum now. Yeah, we kind of start. Yeah, so that's it. I mean, that finished as a full might or something, but. So that's still supposed to look as man. The gamma kevlan says in Lukas Mamish. Yeah, like I said before, in Kodav Atzilus is the same horse in Yoni that in Sav is Keiche B'Gvul. Behind Levish Savis, I'm sure that's still supposed to get a Mavad. Not a Mitzvah, Shlin, Stein, the Club. Now like a parson between Atzilus and yeah. But now, at Hemshech Adam Mashan Dam Le'Elyin behind Sai the Gabi calls between Sakav. That's the air, and Hemshech Le'Elyin, and that's the Gabi the air is Atzilus. The gamma Kalim that's Atzilus, which is in Mitzvah and Keiche B'Gvul, which is which Hepsich on Achras is between Sadam and Gabi between Sak. Which in Ak is also in the Negesh, that in Sof is Keiche B'Gvul, the way it was Meir. Also in of Elgin. Shaking come the band from his Briya Shema in Mamish, Gabi Atzilus, it's in She'enim Hus Atzilus Klal, it's a Mitzvah of a Nibra. The Gamma 8 is the Gyan is the way Lukus is Meir and Biyash, and K'nus HaKel Atzilus, and K'nus HaKel Atzilus, and K'nus HaKel Atzilus, and K'nus HaKel Atzilus, and K'nus HaKel like this, is Galat HaSeichel, the Moshe, the Rosh HaKel the Briya of Iv Chayei Chad Chul. Aval Atzilus, K'nus HaKel Mamish, K'nus HaKel, the K'nus Yichud B'Tachlis, the Iu V'Chayei Chad, Iu V'Chayei, and there's one Akkad, there's one Iu. The Iu is this Gal, there's the Iu, and the air which calling Yoni is this Galus of Iu, and there's the Kalim which the Mahus is that Ihu is also Shalim. So they're all Chad. There is a Yuva, and he goes back when he starts off in Hachodesh. Bin Neshama is that Silas. Shenikra Zera. What's the dik Shenikra Zera Adam? Was tut man auf mit dem? Sheine mit Bchinas Yeshu da v'nifred elim Bchinas Elokus. Gam Mishi Yordul Matlin Nishtan Husa. V'alein Bchinas Elokus that Silas Asher Eina Ila Mashu B'fneim Klal Sheichel Mahazik B'Sidis Elamazeh V'afet B'kein in Kshurim Udvukim B'Mkerim V'Taras Abitul B'Shas Asaka Mamish. For the Yafre Deis Tir Des Elam Hazek Klal. Why? Because since their Mahus is Elokus, so their Mahus is Ein Sof. The Mahus is Ein Sof, but men Nechshav L'Gabi Elokus. A Yid which is Mahus is Ein Sof, it's Ihu, it's Chad with Ihu. So Elam Hazeh is not a Metzias B'Chlal. If I'm saying Tzir, L'Gabi Tzir, Elam Hazeh is Tevis Malka maybe. In none Elam Hazeh are Metzias. L'Gabi Ein Sof, but men Nechshav L'Gabi Elokus. Kimish Gam La'achir Stabs and Shavim B'Guvim Yesh B'Gilim B'Chinas Atzilus Nishtan L'Yis Eshet Davar Nifra. Yeah, so the lashon over here is Yesh B'Gilim B'Chinas Atzilus. He attaches to Shlema. There was a Kavana Shkaman. There's two in Yonim. One that they're Naram Me'Atzilus, and then he adds Mashesh Gili Atzilus Has Chenes Chai Yechid. In Kain, Ein Kol Elam Hazeh Tevis Makom B'Vav Chaz Shalom Kesher Adveikus. Yuchlu Leit Fis Beis Machshavas Kachas. Why? Me Ein Shein Shayach Leimar L'Mayel Chaz Shalom Judis in Yon Elam K'Machshavas Zara Chaz Shalom. Kain Tevis Makom. It's not a Metzias Klal. It's not a Metzias. Kamachem bevor bin ich das der Alamalisch in dieser Maval und ich Yiddish und es mag verbat. Kann der Kavana da gamsha Idee beginnen Pnimi ist einem Slavsches wir sind kommen in das machen Maval mit Vegas Velokus nicht über Etzen Move mit in der Schachs in einem Keil in einem Mebe. Is more different host the gamble. Is EU is connected to the EU. Ihr mach kasse bei Yosef las es malachte im Nivdak be Kis für die Khushbno. Ich immer Yesh asek betzorch elam haze basakim deib. Ja, gewusst was elam haze ist, der ganze Trask. But eine mavavle machshavte li is merkave mamish gam b'shas eisek. Fine, vision plus matzilus kol neshama tzilus elam shaychus elam has a klam. Was this ein mavavle klam mit vikus and belikus. It's min b'she'ene mine. Kol ana yuv mashkas b'dem hem has bahar and neshama tzilus nikra bon. Ben the chodesh b'gnizu v'chorazin the base. V'hainu sheyedem asikim chneser tzilus kedu. This was nikra the mamnusa. Means the other says in tiny that the yichud of the spheres with the makir is in of higher than seichel. It's a yichud which is the mile, which is in of emunah, the mile mitam v'das. It's a yichud which is higher than yichud that's can verstehen al piseichel. Zeo the yadin koros in the base. So hainu b'chinas as spheres that tzilus must ach the mamish be the avasa gezu betachas ad vekas or b'chinas bitul betachas. Means their whole mohus is iu v'chayei echad iu v'gamrei echad. Ad shemuvdolim umufrashim him legamri b'inyanei yoylam. She'elam shaychus l'zeh klal. Or they're moved to legamri, or shekol in your name hagashim him elukus mamish. Something else. There's one eifin that elam hazes not eifin smakim. The second eifin is what's the whole mitzvah of gashmi is hichatim sefer zgalas elukus. Kitvekus this kashas shnashim mi be'etzem elukus datzilus. Umeir etzem elukus begili mamish lamata. Zash kas ve'er achamet nisham is datzilus yedim elukus v'derech kabbalah. Lady b'chinas sichli levad. Yeah. What's the Inni Beruchnis? Sheidiyah Shalem hu b'chinas hakara b'chinas re'iyah. Means the etzem is meir. So my regas tetzilus avilam kanin about tzilus chulus sherem b'chinas muhusa l'kus datzilus. Well, zaysim b'chinas dvekas mamish b'lukus hu b'bitul amiti. Well, li is shemeir etzem meir nishmas megidil l'mata b'chinas re'iyah dvekas anal. Me'l dat gutim kolin in v'gash mechulu kanal. Okay. So what's Doctor Da that neshamas that tzilis have no shaychus to guf. The chatchila guf is a lukus. There's no metzius of guf outside of a lukus. Chatchila the whole metzius of guf is it's adam atzilus adam ale'elim. There's no tnua of a hester a yitzia from you. It's nirgash how it's in savish the musa de kula. There's one iu, and that iu is sai keiche biblik or sai keiche bibul. They're connected to Musa Lukus. So the gabi then there's no geder v'elam hazir. Okay, that's shamas datzilus. The shamas of chinas avodim et reidin shbeter. Amen. Pisa yu mashakosu וספרתם לכם. Hine is Sfartim lashon spheres over here. This is later, but Pashut we'll have to see later. I mean, that so the neshamas that tzilis by them is Meir that the Ein Sof, that Ein Sof is the shlemus of Ein Sof. Pizzi mashkas was Sfartim l'chem din is Sfartim lashon spheres over here is Kmev and Sapir. Means klarkeit, lichtigkeit. Ken es spheres lashon behirus. Sfartim lashon behirus. Now there is a spheres lashon behirus. What's the pshat of Sfartim Lechem? That the spheres Shalom Ma'ile should be Meir Lamat. And Hemshech has a spheres Shiur Lechem Lamat. Shomas that says Meir Lam Gilei Ratzilis. Gam Lamat Kanal. Shomas the Bia is any Meir Ratzilis. As same as Sfartim Lechem, the Zol Meir and even Shomas the Bia Zol Meir and the Ratzilis. That's the spheres Shem Lam Shechei Ratzilis Lamat. How do you know? Where do you see that spheres Eimer is Lam Shechei Ratzilis Lamat? Because Eimer is Mitzias of Elam Hazah. Ma'achal Behema. Eimer Hay Misair Ma'achal Behema. And then he says, "B'sheidish elgin." What's the sheidish of behema? L'mayla. That's michlade b'yira. That's from the machas datzilis. Which that's connected to macholi and abirudim the negesh mevar. The kuda machas datzilis is birayesh. That's karbonaim. Sfiras eimer is also lahamshich elukus lamato. Levar samidis nefesh ba'amis. That's the memtes yamin negezayim midis kolachat kol mizayin. These memevar. Now he goes through the seder abirur. These get to birur. Haina them shals the rakim shom has been at datzilis. Through being mamsha, in order to be mevarer, the zayin midis that from mamsha from knas bina datzilus. So yemi malaf yemi knas gilish from shikm shizam akadim levar midis wa prazer from chom tasyam. So as far as chom mamsha knas imo levar is nafsh mamas. Hin yedu ad ikra berudim knas chach mit kosav kumayim bechach mes berudim. Means in order to be mevarer, you have to have a higher keich. Keich abina zayin. You need to have, in order to be mevarer, the midst of nefesh bahamas and mechalik between the what's good and what's not good. You need to have a higher keich than binas where the mitzias. You have to have the keich, the bittul of chachma, in order to be able to mevar even a mitzias techtein. That's been also Shabbos and becomes mechan dab. So last week becomes mechan dab. Geen Amar Marchus HaShabbos, they Marchus HaYamtiv, the Yamtiv, from the Snechel Limik Yedua. Can't say Golam Shukun Asir Rabba. Geen Amar Marchus HaShabbos Dafke. In order the Keach, in Mavar, you have to have Dafke the Keach of Chochmah. Das ist Eitzach. So, Meil, that's the Wispartem Lechem. And he continues, what's the Pshat Sheva, so what's the Tmim V'Stiyan? That, till now we're speaking about being Mavar Biyad, means Biyad is a Metzias. The way the Svir Seimer is Mesaken Zayin the Metzias. That it should be Nergesh from his Bittel. That's the bitter Metzias. That's through being Mamshach, the Eira Atzilus Lamata. Then also like the Vaita Sheva, what's the Tmim V'Stiyan? Tmimus in Shabbosis. That means Shabbos is Atzilus. A Tmimus in Shabbosis, that's being Mamshach from Eira and Saf Shalamata Atzilus. So the Eira Salam Shalom from Eira Salam Atzilus. So in Shemar the Chavish B'Nizim from Eira Stumim. In Shabbos is Tmimus, so Eira Salam Shalom Eira Shaykh. In other words, if it was Tmimus has no Shaykhs to Shabbos, isn't Shaykhs to Shabbos is Tmimus. Shabbos means to give a Tmimus in Shabbos, which is Shaykhs to Shabbos. Shabbos is not a Shleimus to Shabbos. A Gam Shabbalezi, a Gam Kin Shabbos, but as a Shaykhs did. Derech Mashkav Nisha, because the Chango Shana Tindar, B'Schidish Yibush, Tmimus, Mar B'Davar Shaykh Lashon, Afish Gam Zul, Zen Achshav Shon. Kene, Ben Shabbos is Tmimus, Ben Shabbos is Shabbos, Ben Shabbos, Ben Zatzilus. Adam Al Elim, which is Ben Asak. Shabbos is Tmimus, Hainu, Am Shabbos, Ben Zatzilus, Shabbat Zilus, so Ben Adam Al Elim, Gam Adregezu. Means the Mamshach, the Mocker, which is Atzilus, that's Adam Elin, is higher than Atzilus, but Atzilus has a Shaykhs to that B'china. That's another, that's in the Mechach Shabbos Shemalim B'china Shabbos. Hainam Shabbat Tulma, we taish Mechach Shabbos is B'chilas Abba, Shabbos is Abba. Mechach Shabbos is that the Avodah Sir Seimer is Mitzat Shabbos, Mitzat Chochmah. Here he says that the Avodah Sir Seimer is Mimachar Shabbos, higher than Shabbos. Hainam Shabbat, Sir Seimer Shkolz B'chinas Makir, there's a Chagach Hagili B'chinas Primus B'shuaz Mamad N'Teir. So, וספרתם לכם לשון ספירה, גם לשון בהיר, או שעדי ספיר סעים, המשירים גילי בכנס העיר עצת בכנס העיר מעקב דהימה, וגם בכנס העיר רבו. זה, מרחס השבס דווקא, בכנס נייחן דאב, גם מרחס השבס, לא בכנס השבס, או בכנס העיר ססטום משמעם, אז זה אחר כך השבס שבוס, זה מסתיים. Then he says here, הפי הנ"ל יובן גם כן עניין לג בהם. אם ידוע, בחוכמה, there's ימד, the same way you have nun shari bina, there's nun madreges in bina, so there's lamed beis nesivus chochma. See if you see it. See in the Bar Mitzvah maybe. No, we got this nicht. Why do we know? We say it's true as well. No? I'm not talking about
How they say?
the Lamed Biz, we say it's true as well. Okay, well. We do have this on the Zimtim, Hashem, brothers, we say, I'm sure it's going to say, but Omnam Nimshach was like but the midas are kalen to bina. Like I said, like they say, Helodas and midas is his bonus. Chachma is too far from midas. You have to have bina. But in order for the Hamshachas Era bina to be function, to be mesakin, the kalim, you have to be chachmas biru. You have to have a higher keach. To mevire a low darga means the play you need is bonus because that's what's going to be filled on the midas. But the keach to affect even on a behemah. That's b'chachmas b'riru. To identify which parts of the behemoth could be nisbarer. That's dafka b'chachma. You need a higher keach for that. So the chnimshach to sur sfir sa'emer the chnimshach erab. Can be lamed bez la'emer, which is lamed. So nistayim mamsharas lamed bez mesus. So mamsh given erachach. But yisi seiver. Interessante Sache. Yisi seiver is nistayim erachach. Misham ve'elach. This is mashon aga ended. The b'chacham is b'riru. The Eira Chachma, what you need in order to levire the Teiv and the Ra with the Midas, is Nifsek about it. What's now? Only his bonus. For Ava V'yira. After them Zok, the B'ema saying Nimshach Eira Chachma, even when you're dealing with lower levels, also there is Nimshach Eira Chachma. Yemon, Gulon Shal Zlam, this is Chachma B'malchus, Chachma Tatar. Yesh B'esh B'chai Parish Zazriya. So it says, Shleish Yom, Shleish Mishleish Yom, Deish V'ad Mit Torah. That, what's the who's 33 days? That's the Zachar, yeah, the cave is double.
Yeah.
Huh? Shmeini Meim. This is Zachar. We had the Zachar, Shleishim Yom, Shleishim Yom. So the steht in Shteshav Admei Torah, steht in B'chaye, the Lamed Gimel Yom is a Schabrus P'nes Chachmi Lov Chachmat HaTorah. So you're being Mamshach Eira Chachma not only in Midas, also Malchus. It's a Svara what given that only in Midas are Kelim Teira Chachma. But in Malchus, in Nishkin Kelis Eira Chachma, and then like the Tzu, that even in Malchus, which is a lower Darga, there's Meir the Eira Chachma. Kim Sheshav Sheshav Malchus Yom Lamed Gimel, Chen Gam Kol HaYom, Admen Besim Eimah, Meir Gam B'Kim Schachma Milab. Once you connect Chachma to Malchus, so the B'meil is already Sheiches to Lamata. V'nimtza zeki inin al yishal chacham b'chachmasi. What do we say? Don't be happy with her chachma. So the way it touches here is nish genug that in chachma, in higher dargis, in kelim which abchinas bittul is meir elikus. That was mapshas and lamata. Al yishal chacham b'chachmasi and b'chachmas chachmi la'atzma. Kim b'zeis tafka. B'zeis is malchus. Nekeva. Hainu is chabers b'chachmas chachmi la'achach b'tadach. V'oz tiyam shaz gila chachma gam b'biyah. Shaz miz mamshach chachma. The Eir HaChachma is Meir Lamat, not only in Midas, which is a higher darga, also in Malchus, so then it's already a marker, it's kind of Nishchaber and Biyah. Kudim in Chachmas B'chutz, Chachmas train, in order for Chachma to be B'chutz, is through being Mamshech in the Malchus. Two Chachmas, Beshi Yischaber Zu, Yemshar is Gila Chachma, in order to have this union of Lamed Gimel, so the Nukud of Lamed Gimel is being Mamshech Chachma in Malchus, in lower darga. So in order to have this union of Chachma and Malchus, you have to have a keach from a higher Eir. You need a keach from a higher Eir. Yeah, these are numbers I explain in Chassidus in different places. V'hainim v'mechin stima. It's b'mamshech Chachma and Midas, darf nicht angemeint as a heicher Eir. To be mamshech Chachma and Malchus, which as a result of all the Nimshech, yeah, you have to have mechin stima from Keser. I'm because of this shad film. I'm reserved as Khan Yisrael base. The Indian uman shuchus de meichi lochu. Oh, so now this is all he explained the lag by Emir b'mispa. Lag 33 is amshachas chachma in malchus, which that's neveh from a higher dagger from meichas dema from keser. It's that keser and mamshas and chachma in malchus. It's the lector too. Hini yadua the pnimis atayra sharsha b'pchinas pnimis achachma. That which means sauce in the guy should be. It means chachma do chachma is a mushish in keser. Der was sassen mit Gai shute. Gai you kann es gesehen ist Chachma Stima. Sassen kann es Primis Chachma. Heine kann es Chachma Stima. Was man kann machen. That's the connection to Lag Ba'emer and why Dafke Lag. You can be Mamshe Chachma in Malchus. You say Lag Ba'emer. The Hini Lag Ba'emer can in the Shavuos. The Shavuos Hayim at Teira the Teira Niglis. And the Shavuos is the Gilui and the Amshach Primis of Chitzenis Chachma. And Lag Ba'emer at Teira the Teira Sanista. Rashbi was the mocker of Primis Atayla, the Chaber of the Zayah. Lias the Balag Ba'emer was Chabers from Chachma Lo Chachma Tata. And in order for the to be this Chabers of Chachma Ilah in Malchus is Dafke through Chachma Stima. So in Lag Ba'emer is Meiras from Chachma Stima, which is Al Sheir Shemak of Primis Atayla. Lachen Oz is Mam Matan Tayla from Primis Atayla. So the Balag Ba'emer the Rashbi, all of us all in the Rashbi, and the Rabbi Kivish Kulan, Shekulan Haibim Iker Makar Atayla. They were the Makar of Atayla. Through the 5 Talmidim is Hat Mentera. Nik Pasha Nigla Derais. So there was already the Rabbi Kiva took 5 Elam Shamim. Rabbi Kiva took 5 Talmidim and Mitzei hat aufgestellt noch einmal, soll nicht vergessen werden Primis Atayla. And Sof Kol Sof, the whole Mesiris Atayla that Rabbeinu HaKadosh wrote in Mishnayis is only there from Talmid Rabbi Kiva. Kula Aliba Rabbi Kiva. Means there's different Chachamim that had the Messiah of Torah Shabbat Peh. And the way the Torah Shabbat was given over to Rebbe was through. I mean, the whole Hemshech Hachodesh is through the way Rabbi Kiva gave over Torah Shabbat Peh. It's Kula Aliba Rabbi Kiva. It's all the makar of the Mishnayis and the Brayse. So by them at Meir given Chachma Gluya. So that's not Shaykhs Talamid Beis, Talamid Gimel. That's not Shaykhs Talag. Because the Lag, that's even before. Chachma and Midis, that's Chachma Gluya. To Imam Chachma and Malchus, that is to stay forever, you need Primis Atayla. Rashbiya Yamaka Primis Atayla. The Kol Yemei Chayov, Mashpia Primis Atayla, doesn't they rise? which is barely ill shagam limit in terase and niglis hayu shachas era pnimi ba'asas kashbi in shons princess asim lies of killing the brave like then the for just in the base of hobbit music of princess that says is stimulus on that says geen ho yuhu ikra medal from sassen the tell geen ho ya stakus ba immer also give princess man der user die dort ist stakus stakus also mit salir bei mit madrigasse was auch nas gile ets madrigasse bi yes geen ho stakus bi immer like bei immer also give princess the tell das nicht du kein haja shvus im khasunasse in the yichud but the matten tell is the yichud of the way it touches over here is Chachma. Chachma to Mitzvahs. Yem Estakas Rashbi is Primis Atayr, that's the Yichud of Chachma Ilah, Chachma Tato, which is Mitzvah Primis Mechus Tema. That's Nikar Gankin, Yem Belula, Rashbi al Vashon. Yem Belula Rashbi is Al Derech Yem Chasanat, is a Matnitayr. Good.